Erin, I mean, what's the cautionary tale being given to would-be revelers today?
Well, one of them is to make sure you have water on hand when you go for a hike. And we're just going to go through the mountain peaks here from right to left. Devil's Peak on the right-hand side. Then we've got Maclear's Beacon at 1,087 meters. Fernwood Peak, Window Gorge. It's Skeleton Gorge from which the hikers were traveling yesterday when they were rescued. And the last one on my left is the one that looks like a teddy bear, but in fact is called Castle Rock. But in terms of that rescue operation, it really does remind one that if you're a first-time visitor to the likes of Kirstenbosch or maybe Lion's Head in the Cape Point as well, or some of the many outdoor activities that people often bring their families along to during the holiday season, you need to be well prepared, and that's where we're going to get some tips now from Elton LaRue. Elton, you're the estate manager at Kirstenbosch. Just tell us about that rescue operation yesterday.
Okay, so the rescue operation at Skeleton Gorge yesterday was simply someone that came down from the mountain. They were on Table Mountain, and then they just dehydrated. Someone that probably didn't bring enough water with them. So it's that simple. We just helped them down, brought them some water, maybe some chocolate, and then led them out the garden safely to one of our entrances.
So fortunately nothing too dramatic, but you also had a dislocated knee this season. Has that been the extent of any sort of injuries or sort of problems on the mountain as far as you know here?
That's right. On the 24th of December this year, we had a person with a dislocated knee. We brought them also safely down to the ambulance, and the ambulance took them, and they were airlifted out from Kirstenbosch with the red rescue chopper.
But in all your years of working at Kirstenbosch, I'm sure there are more sort of serious and distressing stories of injury and perhaps even death. What tips do you have for first-time hikers making their way up these many paths here at Kirstenbosch?
Well, it's my belief that people, it's only 1,080 meters, the highest point at Maclear's Beacon, and people tend to underestimate the mountain. But I must assure everybody that it is a dangerous mountain, and they must take precautions, including at least 2 liters of water, sunscreen, sun hat, never walk alone, go in a group. Always bring your summer and winter clothes because the weather comes in here very quickly.
Yes, they say there are 4 seasons in one day in Cape Town sometimes. Elton, just in terms of security as well, we know that obviously with a lot of visitors to the gardens and to the other paths nearby, it can be an opportunity for criminals to pounce.
We on this side of the mountain haven't had any serious confrontational incidences since 2006, 2007 when we apprehended some suspects. Since then it's been quite quiet, but you do get the occasional break-in, car break-in, and handbag snatching, people that when you're in the garden they distract you and then someone else grabs the cell phone. Things like that, nothing really confrontational, I must admit.
Thank you. Elton, we appreciate that. We're just going to go back to Sarah Strace again. Sarah, just coming back to the concert series for this year. I know you've had some pretty remarkable acts in the past. Just some that stand out for you?
Yeah, some of the international acts we've had is Elton John, Cat Stevens, Yo-Yo Ma, Katie Malua. Those were international acts that I really enjoyed, to name a few.
And the last concert you had before we got hit by the national lockdown and the pandemic, who was it?
The last New Year's Eve was Freshly Ground. Freshly Ground started with us many years ago. Their first big concert as a band was at Kirstenbosch. They grew to the size that we know today, one of the biggest South African acts ever. And then the very last concert they did as a band before they all went their own ways was New Year's Eve in 2019, and that was the last New Year's Eve until today that we've had at Kirstenbosch.
And just quickly, I was asking you, how do you ensure that the festivities at the gardens don't get too rowdy, especially looking ahead to a night like tonight with New Year's Eve coming up?
We have a fantastic security and health and safety team in place, as we always do, but Our audiences are just always so fantastic. We have never had any problems with rowdiness at any concerts. It's just a wonderful festive vibe, and people just come to enjoy themselves and are very respectful of the environment and of each other. So it's always a pleasant experience.
Thank you to both Sarah Strace and Elton LaRue. I am standing right now on something called the Boomslang, which was established after the centenary of Kirstenbosch in 2013, so marking the 100 years of the garden's establishment as a formal garden, that is. Of course, some of the plants here go back hundreds and hundreds of years, but apparently up until about that point in 2013, 2014, the average annual visitor count here at Kirstenbosch was 750,000 people. Since the Boomslang was hoisted or built, it's wheelchair friendly, it's easy to access from the walkways. Those numbers shot up to over 1 million viewers. I'm thinking about our own audience. Over 1 million visitors to Kirstenbosch per year. Of course, COVID put a dent in that, but there's a big hope here that as things ease up and people look forward to a fresh new start in 2023, some of those numbers will climb this evening with that Kirstenbosch Summer Series concert.
Well, Erin, just that backdrop alone is just stunning. So lots to look forward to for revelers heading out to Kirstenbosch today. Thank you so much. We'll leave it there for now.